data is new oil. Most brands are still renting the information from what is known as third-party platforms, only to reach customers they already know. Now, Telcos, meanwhile, has quietly owned the Read Action Daily behavioral data, recurring interactions, and the channel infrastructure to engage with customers in real time. We're going to learn more about why brands should stop renting their customer relationship. And then we're going to be talking then to my guest right now is Yaron Assabi, who is founder of Mobile Virtual Network Operations. Good morning, Yaron.
Good morning. It's actually MVNE, Mobile Virtual Network Enabler.
Yes, Mobile Virtual Network Operations.
All these acronyms and telco and technology are always confusing. Everybody always says MVNOs and MVNEs, and all of these different terms. But, a mobile virtual network operator is an operator that doesn't own its infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's using an existing mobile network operator infrastructure, for example, Capita Connect or F&B Connect or DSTV Internet. These are all mobile virtual network operators. And MVNE, our business, is a mobile virtual network enabler. And we enable those businesses. We provide them all the systems and the skills to manage the telco environment without them having to invest in that.
All right. I want to begin by looking at what third-party data is for people that are not familiar with that.
So third-party data is the kind of data that you would get from maybe a credit bureau when you want to do a credit check on somebody, or maybe if you're advertising on Facebook already, or Instagram or Meta, they've already got quite rich data about their customers, and if you want to target certain customers, that data will share with you, same with Google on display, so what's happening is a lot of brands are spending quite a bit of money advertising to customers on third-party platforms where it's much easier to actually build relationships directly with your customers and getting to know them better using your own data sets. And with cookies, which I'm sure you've heard, cookies are going to disappear. There's a lot of issues around first-party data privacy and security. The legal side from a PPI perspective, Protection of Personal Information Act, or California Act in the US, or GDPR in Europe. Obviously, we need to protect customer information. On the one hand, from a first-party data perspective, but at the same time, there's also an opportunity for us to use the data responsibly and personalize experiences for customers based on how we get to know them. As we get to understand them better, we can personalize services for them. So it's much better to be able to build your own first-party data sets rather than having to rely on third-party data.
Okay, so we're going to get into how then businesses can start looking at building their own data. But I want to look at what's the downfall of third-party data?
The fact that you not able to personalize the service direct or communicate directly with your customers could be quite expensive. You want to be able to store the data yourself, analyze it from a security perspective, from a regulatory framework perspective. You have to protect the customer's data and look after them. But it's much more efficient and much more cost effective to have first-party data rather than rely on third-party data.
Oh, okay. Then how can partnerships such as specific partnerships with telco play the role that it can play in helping brands then access real-time customer insights?
So, as you know, South Africa and the rest of the continent is a mobile-first continent. We kind of jumped into mobile internet, and many people, for the first time that they're using the internet, will be from their mobile phone. In fact, I think the number in South Africa is something like 92% of internet traffic is coming from Android phones. So, it makes sense that we would be able to understand the data. If you launch a mobile virtual network operator, for example, which we spoke about earlier, let's take First National Bank or DSTV. DSTV had a lot of data about their customers, but the moment they launched DSTV Internet, they achieved multiple objectives. One was they could lower the cost of data for their customers because they buy wholesale from the mobile operator, and they can subsidize the value of the telco, because if you think about it, when you're streaming Super Sports or like last night with the rugby on stream, the cost of the data is actually much more expensive than subscription service. So if you can subsidize the cost of the telco in view of the content, you're offering a much better value proposition for your customers, and at the same time, you're getting to understand the customer behavior a lot more because they're spending so much time on the internet, and I think these days screen time is like 4 to 6 hours a day. That's a fortune of time out of the total day that people spend on their phones, on their PCs, on the internet. You can get an understanding of what they're doing online, so you can actually make your services more valuable and more personalized based on the actual needs of your customer.
Okay, so I just want to understand, what kind of data then do telcos have that traditional marketers or platforms don't have?
The most powerful one is location. So as long as the customers opted in and gave us permission to track their location, for example, from a life-saving perspective, a lot of the insurance companies ask you to share location. So God forbid you're in an accident and you're not able to dial an ambulance. There's some technology these days that we distribute that allows us to immediately find out that you were in an accident, where you were, and automatically send an ambulance to you and save your life. That's one example. Another example would be, as you enter a shopping mall and you gave us permission to communicate with you about specials, we might, if this is one of the big retailers, the retailer make a special offer for you that's available right now as a special based on your previous buying behavior, knowing that you're at the shopping mall and we could drive you into the store to make the purchase. So that's called location-based marketing, and that's very, very powerful. And if you don't have the telco data, you wouldn't have access to location-based marketing, but you also have to have the permission from the customer to track their location. So it's quite important that we use permission marketing. Permission marketing is really much what Papaya is all about. It's about getting customers to give us permission to track their behavior. And then the advantage for the customers, obviously, if they allow us to track their behavior, we can personalize the service for them.
Okay. Thank you so much for enlightening us this morning, Yaron. Any last words?
Just that I think that mobile virtual network operators create amazing competition in South Africa. And if you do have a large customer base, and you want to get closer to your customers, you want to understand what their behavior is about, not just in your core business, but also of them using the internet, it makes a lot of sense that you will engage in this environment, and that we are running a workshop next week in the Mount Nelson Hotel around what does it mean to become an MVNO and what is the critical success factors. And I think it's part of the MVNO Nation conference next week. I think it's super exciting, and we'd like to invite brands to come and participate.
Awesome. And just want to go back a little bit. Why is it referred to as renting? So these companies can rent the data or access data for some time?
So generally what may happen is that you will have, as I said, you'd have to get explicit permission from customers to do it. So companies that have opt-in data are able to share it with third parties based on explicit consent. So, for example, MTN recently launched MTN Ads, and because they've got explicit permission and amazing profiles about their customers, they can make that data available to another big publisher, so their advertising will be more targeted. That's called data enrichment using third-party data. So you can do data enrichment using third-party data, but it's got to be based on explicit permission from the customer and a special commercial arrangement between two companies that is made.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much once again. Have a fantastic Sunday going forward.
And to you. Thank you so much for hosting me. Take care. Bye.
And that's my guest,